Welcome. What is this? This is not comic book stuff or Will Smith or Nintendo. Well, this is my art. Now, before I go into look at this in detail, before we can zoom in on all this, so the history of my work goes all the way back to 2000, and then I had officially copyrighted stuff in 2007, 2011, and then everything else I've shown on YouTube. Okay. Now, I'll show you. This is art from 2007 to 2008. This was years ago, okay? It's based on me, Drake. There is Rye, right? Gino. You have Gino. I used a lot of inspiration for art. These are based on people I've met in my real life, right? Drake being based on me. It was really hard to get. I had to make a combination of art. That's Rosemarie. That is Jorge, big man right there, big man on campus. And here's all five of us together. And it was supposed to be like the Council of East LA. You have these young people, right? So that was a gimmick I did for a little while. I created like a whole bunch of universes, to be honest, and those took a while. Some of it was my ego or my anti-narcissism, and I just kind of lost the feel for it. My negativity said nah, because I'm not sure how long it would have lasted, keeping up stories like that. But I created like whole universes, how they lived and died, and when I went back, and while I'm working on Metal Men and while I'm working on Eternal Darkness and whatever I got to do here, I decided to put this together. Now, here is Drake. So, the idea for these characters is that they lived all these lives. They lived all these incarnations of themselves. So, this is not the same universe as this. This is a whole separate universe. And the books I've shown you before in my playlist, The Grey Patriarchy, The Grim Planet, that's a separate universe. So there's three universes. There's another universe, four, that's about vampires. There's an original universe that I created back in the 2000s, the 2000 universe. So there's like five universes. There's many universes, okay? But this one here is the final version, I think, for myself, because I've known these characters for over a generation. Most of you were not even born, or you were learning how to play with numbers and blocks, okay, by the time I was creating these characters. So this is based on me. Drake is the mayor of a city. He wears a gold-plated mask, a metallic mask over his face because he was reported injured. His face was burned or damaged. He's wearing like a blazer sewn at the middle so that it just like a shawl just throws over. He doesn't wear the jacket properly. He just wears the jacket like broken up, and you can see this kind of this Asian Oriental or Oriental actually. That's Oriental describes an inanimate object. Let's get that correct. Let's be nice. Sort of a kind of like a robe of sorts. And then there's slacks and spats on shoes. And to his right is Rye. Rye went through so many. Rye started out as Raphael, Chicano, about 5'5" in height. I've drawn so many versions. I was contemplating making all the characters about the age they would be now, like in their 40s, and then Rye would be in his 30s, right? But I decided that I would make him 13, and he's blind in one eye, and in the other eye he has this infrared eye that he could only afford one. He could only afford to make one, and this is on his right eye are thermal sensor, night vision, and X-ray, so he can see different things. He has a secret. Basically, his arms and legs are detachable. He only has his head and torso. This version of Rye came as a surprise to me coming up with it. Just the way it's been different from the other versions. So that's what I was really interested in. And then we go to Rosemarie, Drake's left here. Rosemary is a fun favorite. I really come up with a lot of stuff about her. I redrew her, and the title of this video is called Ghost Passage, the Outcasters Ghost Passage, because of reincarnation. So here's Rosemary here, right? Now this is Rosemary with her friend Olivia the cat. So there's Olivia the cat, and there's Rosemary. Now I changed her look, essentially. So she does still look like this, but I made it more streamlined. This is a more of a sketch. This is not like the final version, but this is mostly what she looks like. Um, Instead of a bowler hat, I gave her a flapper girl like 20s hat that's a little more defined. Has rose and thorns on it, just like this one, but I made it easier to draw, easier to define, easier, sleeker. Uh, and then we have Gino up on top. Gino is what I based the last version of Gino on Michael Jackson and Thriller and the American Werewolf in London. And Gino can transform into any creature from the Chinese zodiac. So that's what I wanted for this. I wanted Gino to be part animal, part human, who can't. So everybody has a different role. There's Jorge up on top. Jorge's got a watermelon for a helmet. He's got moss on his face, a beard, mossy arms. Gino and Jorge were experimented upon to become part or like genetic Superman enhancement. Um, I'm not sure if this watermelon grew out of Jorge's asshole or not. It's possible. Um, so Drake is the mayor. Rye's role is a video game master, and Rosemary is a licensed bounty hunter, just like Dog the Bounty Hunter, right? So Rosemary is really like the first one we would look at, and she remembers her past life. Now, I based this upon an anime. I talked about this before in one of my TFL Sunday shows. It was Fantastic Children, the anime, which you have these mammoth sized, these larger than life these humanoid aliens from another planet. They suffer a fallen kingdom, people die, and they reincarnate and move to the planet Earth as children, and their many lives as children span centuries, and they all find each other, but they remember their past lives. So that's what this is based on. Rosemary remembers who she is. She remembers who she was. Uh, she remembers everything that went on in her life before. She remembers Rye. She remembers Drake. She remembers everyone. But they're trying to remember who they are as well. And it isn't until they all meet each other that they start to come together. And it's really dealing with the circus freaks, which are characters I drew and created back in 1997. This stuff goes back many years. This is my life's work, I would say. But I'm very happy with it. I might be happy with this. I'm still working on it. So, with the different designs I have, Rye's wearing like these baggy fireman's pants. And I've always I drew him to be like a scientist. But then in one of the last version before, in the Gray Patriarchy version, he's wearing a fireman's uniform. But then I went back to make him look a little bit like a scientist and a little bit a little rugged. But it used to be I drew these 5 to be in a group of people all the time, and then I changed it up a lot. I changed up a lot of things. So Rye was experimented upon by another person. So there's 3 people. One who experimented on these 2 to become superhuman or freaks of nature, monsters. And then Rye because of his... So one with creatures and organics, one with robotics, and one with pure energy. That's 3 people. So there's 3 people who are the antagonists, the circus freaks, versus the outcasters. So the outcasters mostly refers to these 5 people, but it's really about having been dead and coming back to life and remembering who you were. And what I want to do, because obviously I'm going to write this out, type it out. I want to have a story where these characters all come together, everybody meets everyone, and it becomes a community slowly but surely of people meeting one another. Just like everybody coming together. So that's what I wanted. That's what I hope for, and that's it. So what I'm doing, I'm not writing the story out now. What I am doing is fleshing out all the characters that need to be fleshed out. Uh, I'm going to redraw Rosemary and this one here. I think I have another one. Let me show you that one before we close out. And this was another one with, I gave this to a girl. I don't know if I ever see her again, but this is Elsa the pup. So Elsa the pup, Rosemary, Olivia the cat. These are three of the bounty hunters. So my focus right now is on Rosemary, being the lead bounty hunter. So bail bondswomen, tougher than the lipstick jungle ones, but she's not screwing around. That's her bulletproof vests. And she's got electric snap trap guns. This is stuff that I have to get this right sometime. Her heart-shaped ears, all the little details, and I feel that's very important. So I'll work on Sunny's bonds next time. You'll see Rosemary in the center and all her four girls. And I'll work on groups on each of these three here. The mayor's by himself. He doesn't have a group. I might draw a separate art for him.